Hey everybody, in case you don't know, I'm Rock Newman, and this is the Rock Newman Show 2.0. We are relaunching after being away from a little over 2 years. The pandemic shut down a lot of people. We've been away, but it is a pleasure to return. It is a pleasure to return right here where I am now, where in 2013, we started the Rock Newman Show in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, right here at We Act Radio. There was something real organic about starting a show here and at an address that was 1918 Martin Luther King Avenue. There's something about that I liked then, and it's something that I like now. Before we bring in our first guest, part of what I wanted to do to the audience that is seated here today and to you, the YouTube audience, was to address something. Let me tell you that I sincerely appreciate every single comment that you all have made through the years. And I absolutely encourage you to continue to make them and to spread the word about the Rock Newman Show. A bit more on that in a moment. What I want to deal with here as I talk about the comments that you have made, something somewhat amusing, I find amusing, has happened, and that is that my younger audience, oftentimes, I have heard comments that range from the Rock Newman Show is the best show that we can find to the Rock Newman Show is the worst show that we can find. I have got comments, and I got the receipts in case y'all ever want to see them, that talks about, these are some of the folks that come from South Africa, all across the United States, in our community, that talk about, wow, he sure is a black man. He thinks black, he walks black, he talks black, and we love that brother's blackness. And there are some, and I find this especially to be more with the younger crowd, who says, why is that white man up there talking? Why is that white man up there talking and acting like he's a black man? So somewhere, I think it was about 7 years ago now, we did a show. It was called the DNA Reveal. And the DNA that we did at the time revealed that my ancestry was about 20% European, about 80% European, and 20% from Africa. And here in these United States of America, you know they've had forever the one-drop rule. And that was primarily established so that the male patriarchy, the white men, could have further control over their white women, putting fear in them to say that if you do anything with the darkies and you have a baby, 1% makes your baby a black person. Well, that was promulgated. It was firmly established throughout time here in the Americas. Now, you had some people who might look like me, who might have the kind of color that I have, that clearly made a choice, they made a decision that they were going to pass as white, although they were categorized and legalized as black. Now, then there are others who didn't. I'm one of the others who didn't. Everybody who knows me in my family, my early friends, my teachers, Sunday school teachers, teachers in my segregated elementary school, Orem Elementary in Aquasco, Maryland. When I say segregated, it was an all-black school we got the books from the white school about 20 miles north of where we went to school, but we learned nevertheless. And part of what I had as an example was a principal, Ms. Hildegard Adams, and from the first to the sixth grade, a real support system that taught us to be strong, that taught us to be courageous, that tried to teach us who we were. Given that example and some of my own reading and my own inclination, and the incredible impact that a guy started to have on me when I was about 10 years old, his name was Cassius Clay at the time. I became a fanatic worshiper of Cassius Clay. And when he fought for the title, I was so truly impacted by him. I kind of knew all of his sayings. I knew much of his poetry. And if I can remember a little bit right now, it's like, this is the legend of Cassius Clay, the most beautiful fighter of the world today. He talks a great deal and brags indeedy of a muscular punch that's incredibly speedy. The fistic world was dull and weary, and with a champ like Liston, things had to be dreary. Then someone with color, someone with cash, someone with dash, brought fight fans are running with cash. The boxer is, let's see if I can remember the whole thing. The boxer, whatever it is at the end, it says, the kid fights great, he's got speed and endurance. If you sign to fight him, you better raise your insurance. Ah, rumble, young man, rumble. Well, Muhammad Ali, as an individual, had the greatest impact on my life as any other human being on the planet. And I'm talking mom and daddy, brothers, sisters, teacher, priest, whoever. Muhammad Ali had the ultimate impact on the life of Rock Newman. Around that same time, I became aware of a book by Claude Brown. Claude Brown wrote Man-Child in the Promised Land. And my God, was that book impactful. Around the same time, I read the autobiography, a little bit later, the autobiography of Malcolm X. So some of you young folks who mistake me for being a white person, I understand. I look at myself, and maybe if I didn't know, I might think I was white, categorized as white myself. But I want to tell you something. Since the time I was a child, I have had an ultra black perspective. I have lived a blackety black life. And I continue to do so now. And I have a black perspective. And one of my guests a couple of years ago, Professor Ron Daniels, he turned to me and said, Rock, you know, you are a race man. I really had never looked up the term, but I looked up the term race man. And the definition was someone who is most concerned about his or her race of people and attempts to do all they can to promulgate the good for his race of people first. That is my perspective, that is my mentality, and that is my heart. We do this show because we want to be a voice that we think is needed throughout, because there is a false narrative that has been perpetuated for so long that needs a voice that is unafraid to speak a real truth and to speak a black, strong truth. That's why we're doing this show. I invite you to listen. I invite you to watch. I welcome that you would spread the word that the Rock Newman Show 2.0 is back, and we're good to go. God bless you, and we'll get to our very first guest in just a few moments.